Warning. The content of this show is the sole opinion of Dave's and guest, if any, and is not intended to ruffle your feathers. It is encouraged, however, that you leave a comment with a list of your own so that you may share your input on the topic. Any comment containing sour grapes will be deleted.
My name is Dave, and I have a problem. What's my problem? I'm a pedal junkie. I have a feeling you might be too. Welcome back to the list. Today we're going to take a look at 10 of my favorite overdrive pedals. Now, this list is 10 overdrive pedals that I recommend. They're not the absolute end-all be-all list of overdrive pedals. With the number of boutique builders and brands out there, it's impossible to have played and have an opinion of every single one of them. I'm basically going to tell you the 10 that I highly recommend that you should check out. If there's an overdrive pedal that you really love and that you want me to check out or want my listeners to check out, please put it in the comments. I'd love to see what that is and give it a try. A little spoiler alert before we get started. There will be no original tube screamers, Maxon included, and there will be no clones in this list. Mainly because, number one, with all the boutique guys building stuff out there, I think they're building better versions and more improved versions of these pedals. The Klon itself is just priced itself out of the market, and I really am not a huge Klon fan, although there is one copy that made the list. Also, there are no JHS pedals in this list. Now, I love the Angry Charlie version 2. It's my absolute favorite distortion pedal. However, that's a distortion pedal, and I really like to differentiate overdrive from distortion. I'm also interested in the Super Bolt by JHS, as every time I hear it, I'm intrigued by the sound and like it, but I've never played it, I've never played it out, I've never put it in my rig, and therefore I can't in good faith recommend it to you. Also, I really like Brad Jetter pedals. I have a Jetter Indigo Fuzz. When I bought it, I was hoping it was going to be more of a fuzz with a higher gain, as it was in the demonstration when I saw Lance Keltner playing it. However, when I got it, it really didn't have a lot of gain. I use it as an overdrive when I stack it with other pedals, and it's fantastic. When I bought it, the pedal was already discontinued, and I had to hunt it down. So it's not going to be on the list because, number one, it's no longer available, and it's really not an overdrive pedal. Now let's get on to the list. Number 10 on my list is the Matthew Effects The Clone. Now, the original The Clone that Matthew Effects made was basically a true bypass version of the Klon. The second version had a dip switch to change the sounds. Later, he changed the name of the pedal to the Architect, and I believe he's on version 3 now of the Architect. Either way, if the Klon pedal is something you're interested in, the Architect by Matthew Effects, or the Clone, if you can find a used one, is a great pedal to give you that Klon sound. Number 9 on my list is the Wampler Paisley drive. This is a very versatile drive. You can get a lot of nice sounds out of this pedal. My one beef with this pedal is that the knobs seem to turn when you play it live, so you have to use some type of either rubber band or some type of system to keep it so the knobs do not move. But the tone of this pedal and the absolute quiet of this pedal and just how nice it sounds is enough to buy this pedal. It's a great pedal. The next overdrive on my list, number 8, is an absolute classic. It is a Boss SD1. Now, this pedal made my list because this pedal is a great pedal for when you're taking a mid-gain amp like a Marshall and you want to take it to the next level. There is nothing better, in my opinion, than a 2203 or a 2204 Marshall amplifier with an SD1 in front of it. In fact, one of my all-time favorite sounds is my Marshall JCM 2000 DSL 50 with a Boss SD1 in front of it. It is pure 80s goodness. And not that over-compressed sound. It's not that 2205 sound you hear on the Metallica records where it's just overly distorted. I'm talking about that beautiful, blooming distortion that you hear in those early 80s records. Number 7 is somewhat of an overdrive on steroids, and there's going to be 2 on this list that are like this. And this one is from Providence Pedals. It is called the SDR5, and it is the Sonic Drive. This is a beautiful sounding pedal. It almost gets to the distortion level of a pedal, but really when you pull this one back into gain, you really have a beautiful sound. It's a great responsive pedal, and I highly recommend it to anybody. Number 6 on my list, I found when I went to the Boston Amp Show. I went to go play an amplifier, and it was a really clean sounding amp, and so they put this pedal in front of it, and I immediately bought the pedal on the spot. The pedal is by Jam Pedals, and it is called the Tube Dreamer 58, and this is a modified Tube Screamer with the caveat that it sounds good. It sounds probably more like the original Tube Screamer than most of the Tube Screamer knockoffs that I have on my list. However, it does respond better when I play, and it's a little less compressed. Number 5 on my list is probably the pedal that has been on my board the longest. It is by Exotic Effects, and it is the AC Booster. The AC Booster, otherwise known as the Almost Clean Booster, as opposed to the RC Booster, the Really Clean. The AC Booster is basically like a Tube Screamer circuit, but this is much cleaner. It doesn't have that certain sound that I hear, that compression and that yellowing sound. I don't know why I call it yellow, but I do when I hear that Tube Screamer. This is a beautiful pedal, super versatile, and stacks well and plays nice with other pedals. Number 4 on my list is an absolutely sexy overdrive. This is the Honeybee Amps Clean Drive. Now this is all the goodness of a Tube Screamer, all that compression with a little something something. It is a beautiful pedal. I highly recommend this pedal if you're looking for that Tube Screamer sound, but you want something that takes you to the next level. This pedal is fantastic. But don't get me wrong. It is a Tube Screamer sound through and through, but better. Number 3 on my list comes from Paul Cochran. The pedal, of course, is the Timmy. Now, the Timmy is an overdrive pedal, but I really don't use it as an overdrive. I use it as a boost, and I think it's one of the greatest boost pedals there is. I do use it to add a little more gain, but very little. It adds sustain, it adds all the goodness, it stacks well with other pedals. It's just a great pedal, and for the price of under $130, it absolutely belongs on everybody's rig. Number 2 is my go-to overdrive in any situation when I need an overdrive on steroids. I don't want that distortion sound, but I do want it to be just at that point. And this is the Rockbox Boiling Point. This pedal for me, if I had to only have one pedal, and I needed to take one pedal out, and I needed to do a versatile gig, this pedal's the pedal that's coming with me. I think this pedal's fantastic. Now, people have told me this is a copy of a Landgraf drive. It is a copy of some other drives. I don't know what it is. All I know is that it's fantastic. It is my go-to pedal, and I can't recommend it enough. I have it on 2 boards of mine. And one of the main things I want to tell you is when you stack this with like a Timmy or you stack it with another pedal to take you to that singing lead guitar solo sound, the noise floor is so minimal. It is such a usable pedal. I can't recommend it enough. And now for the number 1. And for anybody who's been on this channel and seen my videos before, you all know this is coming. It is the Kingtone Duelist. Now, the Kingtone Duelist is a dual pedal. It has a Tube Screamer side called the String Singer, and it has a Blues Breaker side, which they call the Heavy Hand side. Now, it's an expensive pedal, and on this list, I'm putting it there because of the string singer side, the tube screamer side, and because of that, I also highly recommend the King Tone Soloist, which is a single pedal and which will save you a few bucks if you bought it. Even though this is number 1 and the Honeybee Clean Drive is number 4, either one is going to give you the most fantastic tube screamer sound. They're both fantastic pedals. The King Tone for me is the first pedal that I've ever bought where it sounded exactly what I thought it could do and then some. It really is the greatest overdrive I've used. I absolutely love it. When I'm playing live and I want that clean sort of singing, sustainy sound like Sarah Smiles' guitar solo, that is the pedal I'm using. It is fantastic. Again, if there are pedals that I missed, which of course there are thousands of pedals and I can't name them all and I can't own them all, so I can't recommend them all. This list is purely what I use and what I recommend. What you use and what you recommend, I'd really love to see in the comments. And I'm not saying that because I want your comments. I'm saying that because I want to know what pedals to look for, because I am a fucking pedal junkie. I have a problem. My name is Dave. Very good.